Hello, forever friends and family. I would like to welcome everybody to join us on the webinar Transforming Anxiety. The book we're going to continue to read, to study and implement. My name is Alex Tunitsky, and I'm an organizer of this webinar. Я рад приветствовать всех, кто к нам присоединился и присоединится на нашем вебинаре, на котором мы будем читать книгу Transforming Anxiety. И я уверен, что мы ее читаем, изучаем и внедряем и пользуемся в нашей ежедневной жизни. И я с радостью и с удовольствием предоставляю слово моему другу и партнеру Айзеку Гилбиновичу, который будет переводить вначале только кавер, другой партнер по бизнесу Zoya Sergey. Isaac, please go ahead. Zoya, please be ready with translation.
Good evening, everybody. Transforming Anxiety, the HeartMath solution for overcoming fear and worry and creating serenity.
Добрый вечер. Решение метода сердца математики для захватывающего вас страха и беспокойства и создания спокойствия, тишины.
The perfect antidote to anxiety. Feelings of anxiety can sap your energy, joy, and vitality. But now the scientists at the Institute of HeartMath have adapted their revolutionary techniques into a fast and simple program that you can use to break free from anxiety once and for all.
Прекрасное средство от чувства тревоги и страха. Чувства тревоги могут забирать вашу энергию, радость и жизненную энергию. Но в настоящее время ученые Института математики сердца ввели свои революционные методы в быструю и простую программу, которую вы можете использовать, чтобы освободиться от чувства страха, тревоги раз и навсегда.
At the core of the HeartMath method is the idea that our thoughts and emotions affect our heart rhythms. By focusing on positive feelings such as appreciation, care, or compassion, you can create coherence in these rhythms with amazing results. Using the HeartMath method, you'll learn to engage your heart to bring your emotions, body, and mind into balance. Relief from anxiety, optimal health, and high performance all day long will follow.
В основе метода Института математики сердца лежит идея, что наши мысли и эмоции влияют на сердечные ритмы. Сфокусировавшись на положительных чувствах, таких как признательность, забота или сочувствие, вы можете создать согласованность в этих ритмах и иметь замечательные результаты. Используя метод математики сердца, вы научитесь использовать сердце, чтобы привести свои эмоции, тело и разум в баланс. После этого последует облегчение от чувства тревоги и страха, хорошее здоровье и высокая производительность. Целый день.
A quote, a powerful guide to using positive emotions and loving kindness to reduce anxiety in its myriad forms. Drawing on science and common sense, the HeartMath tools will be helpful to anyone when practiced as taught in this straightforward and easy-to-read book, end quote. Frederick Lusky, PhD.
Это мощное руководство по использованию позитивных эмоций, любви, доброты, чтобы уменьшить чувство тревоги во всех ее многочисленных формах. Привлекая науку и здравый смысл, средства этого метода математики сердца будут полезны любому, кто практикует его. Этому обучает простая и легкая в чтении книга.
Thank you, Zoya. Thank you, Isaac. Let me switch the screen and we will continue in a second. And in the meantime, I would like to share that one of the readers, Helen Osipov, will not be with us today. She has a very good excuse. She told me about that, with her family. Isaac, what do you see on the screen?
I saw now the negativity bias.
Okay, please continue to read. Thank you.
The negativity bias. Despite people's best intentions, a negativity bias, a natural tendency to focus on thoughts and emotions perceived as negative, is built into humans as a survival mechanism. Although most people say that they love, care, and appreciate if they really stop to notice their inner states, they may be shocked to find that they are assuming these qualities more than they are actually feeling them. Instead, what they feel and dwell on more of the time are negative emotions like worry, frustration, fear, and insecurity. As negative feelings are rehashed, they become so familiar, they form baseline patterns that shape identity. For example, children of anxious parents tend to also become anxious. Baden and Torman, 1997. The body defaults to what's familiar even when it's dysfunctional. This serves to perpetuate the cycle of anxiety and anxiety disorders. Through learning to use tools in action to bring your philosophy into more coherence and synchronization, you can transform negative emotions and bring more intuitive perception into your awareness. As you practice methods to create coherence, more enjoyable states will progressively replace dysfunctional patterns as your familiar way of being. You will improve your baseline heart rhythms pattern, which also improves your health and vitality and slows premature aging. Emotion admittance. You can transform negative emotions until you learn to admit what you are feeling and how your body is responding. By admitting a feeling, whatever it is, worry, anxiety, frustration, anger, hurt, resistance, numbness, or even a vague disturbance, you can put your finger on. You slow down the emotional energy running through your system. Being honest about naming what you are feeling helps regulate your emotional energy and gives you more power. Here is an example of what happens when people don't admit and regulate the energy in their emotions. John calls his wife from work and has an anxious reaction to something she says. He goes to a meeting with his project team, but the disturbed feeling lingers. John can't focus and can hardly hear what is being said. He keeps up with the meeting agenda, yet inside his thoughts keep surging back over the things that bothered him about the call. He keeps trying to fight them and quell the disturbance so he can be present for the meeting. But anxious feelings keep disturbing his internal world. Soon he feels dull and drained inside. That one conversation creates an emotional churning that John drags around the rest of the day. When he gets home that night, his wife seems happy to see him, as if nothing had happened. Not wanting to cause an argument, John plops down in front of the TV to try to forget the whole thing. He goes to bed exhausted, still bothered inside. John's day could have gone completely differently if he had taken a moment to stop and admit what he was feeling. By admitting and naming what you're feeling, you begin regulating the emotional energy. You then can redirect emotional energy to work for you instead of draining you entire day. Feelings are like a code that contains information. You have to name and admit feelings to decipher the code and allow intuitive perceptions to come to you. Most people who suffer from anxiety have difficulty admitting feelings. The feelings back up in your system, causing more anxiety. As the turbulence of anxiety churns in the subconscious and plays out in your thoughts and action, it's called emotional processing. You can try to suppress it, but the processing still runs in the background of your thoughts and feelings, and the drain of energy goes on and on. This festering under stuff can cause fatigue, sleep disorders, hormone imbalance, health problems, and premature aging. You can go into a state of resignation that things won't change and your self-worth suffers. The idea of admitting your emotions can make you feel vulnerable. You may worry that you'll be engulfed by them, but the opposite happens. As soon as you honestly admit your feelings, anxious, you start to diminish its power over you. But then you don't stop there. As you use one of the tools you learn here, you can neutralize the understuff and start to ease out the disturbing feelings of attitude. Even a little ease can bring a more balanced perspective. Notice and ease is a basic tool in action for admitting emotions. Greg describes his experience practicing notice and ease. I was aware of a stream of thoughts most of the time, but I didn't realize there is a stream of emotions going on all the time as well. I really don't think most people realize this either. Practicing being more aware of how I feel about issues has made me aware of a stream of understuff, and telling myself to notice and ease is giving me choice over it. You can learn to release anxiety or other stressful feelings and stop their energy drain by doing the following simple steps. Look at the list of disturbed feelings below. Note which ones you experience frequently. Tense, resentful, fearful, worried, guilty, blaming, angry, blocked, numb, anxious, bored, stubborn, overwhelmed, sad, resistant, angst-ridden, self-blaming, angry, depressed. Tool, notice and ease. Step 1, notice and admit what you are feeling. Step 2, try to name the feeling. Step 3, tell yourself to ease as you gently focus on your heart, relaxed as you breathe, and ease the stress out. Practice becoming more conscious of these feelings as they come up. Don't be afraid to admit them. Practice notice and ease, and you will start to gain power over them. Try an experiment for a day. Each time one of these disturbed feelings arise, go through the steps of the notice and ease tool. At the end of the day, note which disturbed feelings were most frequent and what happened as you ease them out. emotion refocusing. The next HeartMath tool to learn is a simple yet powerful tool for emotion refocusing. It's called the power of neutral. It teaches you to use the rhythmic power of your heart to bring your mind, emotions, and physiology to a state of neutral that can lessen or stop many anxiety triggers. Think of neutral as time-out zone, where you can step back, neutralize your emotions, and see more options with clarity. It will help clear your mental stress screen and prevent static buildup from understuff and the anxiety it creates. Tool, power of neutral. Step 1, take a time out, breathing slowly and deeply. Imagine the air entering and leaving through the heart area or the center of your chest. Step 2, try to disengage from your stressful thoughts and worries, feeling as you continue to breathe. Step 3, continue the process until you have neutralized the emotional charge. You use step 1 as soon as you feel your emotions starting to amp up. First, you want to take a time out by choosing to step back from your emotions. Heart breathing is step 1, helps draw the energy out of your heart, where negative thoughts and feelings get amplified. Breathe slowly and deeply. In a casual way, imagine the air entering and leaving through the center of your chest and heart area. In step 2, disengage from your stressful thoughts and feelings as you continue to breathe. Just having the intent to disengage can help you release a lot of emotional energy. In step 3, you continue the process until you have chilled out and neutralized the emotional charge. This doesn't mean you worry, anxiety, or other stressful feelings will have totally evaporated. It just means that the charged energy has been taken out and you have stopped the stress accumulation. Even if you can't totally neutralize anxiety in the moment, just the effort to shift into neutral will stop the accumulation of anxiety. You now have a chance to regroup your energies and refocus. One of the things that help to get to neutral is asking yourself, do I really want to keep draining energy and stressed about the situation? For example, right before a situation that normally makes you anxious, you start projecting that you will panic or be judged by others. This is the perfect time to use power of neutral. Otherwise, your emotional reaction will take over and drain you through the situation. You build your power to tell intrusive. You build your power to tell intrusive, disturbed thoughts and feelings. Thanks for stopping by, but I'm not going to feed you, and mean it.
Isaac, thank you very much. Take a break, please. And I would like to continue to read my friend and partner, Zoya Sergey. Zoya, please go ahead.
Thank you, Isaac. Thank you, Alex. Performance anxiety. Learn to practice power of neutral when you have performance anxiety, like when you are afraid to express your thoughts or feelings for fear someone will judge you. By chilling out before jumping to conclusions, your wise self can talk things through with your confused and worried self and save you a lot of problems. That wise self is your heart intelligence. Learn to practice power of neutral anytime you need a feeling of neutral for more objective clarity. You will gain mental flexibility and free energy. It's usually cumulative overcares and anxieties, along with the inability to express your feelings, that cause undercurrents of anxiety. The accumulation can build up over time and feel like an inner resistance or heaviness when you try to go to neutral. It's nothing to worry about. Let go of any performance anxiety about whether you are doing it right. Just hold the attitude and intent of neutral, and it will start to dislodge some of the accumulation. If the anxiety won't let up, try to disengage from the situation and immerse yourself in something you're interested in to distract yourself. Often, telling yourself it's no big deal or taking the significance out and moving on to something else is your best approach. As you practice emotion admittance with notice and ease, and emotion refocusing with the power of neutral, the strength of the anxiety and feelings of resistance will start to dissolve. Take a look at the Releasing Overcare and Over-Identity worksheet you created in Chapter 2. Are there any overcare issues that keep adding static buildup and just don't seem to go away? Pick one and practice the power of neutral tool. Go through the steps and see if you can take out some of the significance or emotional investment you assign to it. Don't worry if you can get total neutral. Just experiencing a little less charge is a great start. Try the power of neutral tool on a few more overcase issues. See if you can find a feeling of neutral that brings more objective clarity or more ease. Practice power of neutral several times a day. Whether or not an overcare trigger comes up, to learn the tool and get in the habit of using it. It will then be easier to remember to use power of neutral when you need it. Practicing neutral in communications. Communication problems are a major cause of anxiety. You may feel you're not being heard, or you feel misunderstood, wrongly blamed, or unfairly treated. Other common anxiety producing communication problems are feeling hurt by what someone says, being unable to say what you really mean or feel, or feeling pressured into decisions you are confused about or don't agree with. You can use the power of neutral tool to improve communication. You will find that as you use power of neutral before you speak, then speak genuinely from your heart, you are likely to express yourself more clearly, and the other person is more likely to hear you at a deeper level. Especially use the power of neutral tool while listening to yourself or others. The mind listens to words while the heart can perceive feelings and the real meaning behind words. Practice letting interactions with yourself and others be guided from the heart. As you use power of neutral, ask yourself, What is my heart feeling about the situation? Then ask yourself, what would be a more effective attitude? It's not bad to have negative thoughts or feelings. Just take responsibility to clean up the energies with the power of neutral. Ginger explains how practicing power of neutral helped her. I used to find myself feeling misunderstood all the time. I tried to be neutral, but could hear myself saying to others, well, all I meant was I was so convinced that I knew that what others were thinking of me, that I was constantly defending myself and my ideas. Ginger found that by using the power of neutral tool, things changed. After going through the steps, she'd tell herself, hold to neutral. She would stay centered in her heart. And if she felt herself getting anxious, she'd ask herself, what if it's not like I'm thinking it is? Asking that question began to yield results. I began to see waves of assumptions come up in my mind that I never realized were behind a lot of my thoughts, she says. But I really had to stay in my heart and hold on to neutral to see this. The neutral place Ginger found is actually a place of freedom. Freedom to see your own reactions and the freedom to choose not to buy into them. Neutral is a space where you gain empowerment to have real choice. Emotion restructuring. Positive emotions have been shown to improve health and increase longevity. Blakesley, 1997. While promoting helpfulness, generosity, and effective cooperation, Eason, 1987. Researchers in a field called positive psychology are finding that positive emotions are far more important to mental health and physical well-being than scientists had ever realized. Snyder and Lopez, 2002. University of Michigan researcher Barbara Fredkinson says, positive emotions can have effects beyond making people feel good or improving their subjective experiences of life. They also have the potential to broaden people's habitual modes of thinking and build their physical, intellectual, and social resources. Fredkinson, 2000. Negative emotions aren't wrong. They're signals that something needs attention. The most effective attention is to take them to neutral and find something to feel positive about so that you can gain new perspectives about the issue. According to researchers, when you're experiencing a negative emotion, the thoughts available to your mind are limited, yielding fixated and more predictable thinking and action. When you are experiencing a positive emotion, more possibilities come into your view. Positive emotions produce patterns of thought that are notably unusual, flexible, and inclusive, creative, and receptive, and lead to more creative action. Tyson, 1998. Fredkinson, 2002. Positive emotions also have an undoing effect. on negative emotions. They loosen the hold that negative emotions gain on your brain and body. Positive and negative emotions are fundamentally incompatible because it's hard to experience both simultaneously. This incompatibility accounts for why positive emotions seem to serve as effective antidotes for the lingering effects of negative emotions. Cultivating more positive emotional experiences and attitudes results in emotional restructuring, creating new neutral pathways in the brain. Fredkinson concludes, through experiences of positive emotions, people transform themselves, becoming more creative, knowledgeable, resilient, socially integrated, and healthy individuals. Attitude directs how you manage your energy. Negative attitudes generate emotional undercurrents or background noise that can become ingrained and automatic. These undercurrents affect your mood swings, the way you feel overall, and your relationships. By learning to shift to positive attitudes, you increase your emotional stability and resilience. The attitude breathing tool is designed to help you shift out of a negative emotion state into a positive one, psychologically and physiologically. You learn to clear and replace negative attitudes right in the midst of stress and or anxiety to gain a more intelligent perspective. 2. Attitude breathing. Step 1. Recognize an unwanted attitude, a feeling or attitude that you want to change. This could be overcare, anxiety, self-judgment, guilt, anger, anything. Step 2. Identify and breathe a replacement attitude. Select a positive attitude, then breathe the feeling of that new attitude slowly and casually through your heart area. Do this for a while to anchor the new feeling. Often, the appropriate replacement attitude to breathe can be obvious, like balance, non-judgmental, or appreciation. You can use the attitude replacement list below or be open to a new replacement attitude from your intuition. It takes breathing the feeling of the new attitude to make it real. For example, if you're worried, you may want to breathe calm, but this requires breathing the feeling a while until you actually feel calmed. Then you have made what we call the energetic shift. This means that the turbulent emotional energy in your subconscious has shifted.
Zoya, thank you. Take a break, please. And I would like us to continue to read. Friend and my partner, the most reliable manager from New Jersey, Iris Christopher. Iris, please go ahead.
Alex, thank you, Sawyer. Unwanted feelings and attitudes. And to the right, replacement feelings and attitudes. If you're stressed, breathe neutral to chill out and revitalize. If you're anxious, breathe calm. Overwhelmed, breathe ease and peace. Fogged and confused, Read neutral for clarity. Angry or upset, read neutral to cool down. Judgmental, read tolerance or compassion. As you breed these replacement attitudes, tell yourself to take a big deal out or to take the significance out. Continue the attitude breathing until you feel a shift or a change. Remember that even when a negative attitude feels justified, the buildup of negative emotional energy still drains your system. Have a genuine, I mean business, attitude to move those emotions into a more coherent state and shift your physiology. It could take a few minutes, but it's worth the genuine practice. See which replacement attitudes give you the most relief and write them down. As you practice, you'll discover that each of these replacement attitudes has a different feeling or texture that accompanies it. Feelings also create different hormonal responses. Practice sincerely, these positive attitudes and emotions all have the power to bring your heart rhythms into more coherence and your mental, emotional, and hormonal systems into synchronization and alignment. When you feel resistance, some attitudes and anxiety feelings are stubborn and keep recurring. Just keep breathing the new attitude. Remember to breathe slowly and casually and stay focused on the replacement attitude even when you feel resistance. Imagine pulling in and anchoring the new feeling in your heart. You will build new neural pathways and you will feel better as you keep it up. Some people have difficult time feeling positive attitudes like appreciation, and this causes anxiety. Peter Grunewald, MD, general practitioner and medical advisor in the National Health Service and private practice, has this advice. I have a patient who suffered with states of anxiety and depression on and off for 2 years. I advise her to practice the power of neutral and attitude breathing during the day. When trying to find a feeling of appreciation, she develops strong feelings of anxiety. I advise her to instead breathe calm and select a memory associated with a feeling of inner calm while sustaining hard focus. She managed this without any anxiety and felt relaxed and well afterwards. I then advise her to feel appreciation for the new calm she had and start transforming the inner calm into appreciation. This is an effective way to help people feel appreciation. Other times to use attitude breathing to clear hurt and anger. We can use attitude breathing to help clear hurt and anger from old situations you can't change. Just keep breathing a replacement attitude to hurt or anger. Another benefit, changing your attitude often makes it easier for others to have an attitude shift. When feeling overwhelmed, use attitude breathing when you are feeling overwhelmed. Breathe EASE and peace for a minute. So and tell yourself to go step at a time. You'll draw new creative ways to respond or prioritize that often get overlooked when you're overwhelmed and your senses are jammed. Before sleep, focusing on positive replacement attitudes and practicing the attitude breathing tool before falling asleep often leads to a more peaceful and rejuvenating sleep and reduces carryover of negative thoughts and emotion into the following day. Read balance, appreciation, or any replacement attitude for a few minutes after you close your eyes or until you fall asleep. When you are projecting, negative projections about what might happen today or tomorrow can surface anytime. But most people are more vulnerable to them in the early morning when they first wake up, or later in the afternoon when they haven't taken a break or are tired. People project their insecurities into the future, which tends to bring up more insecurity. The resulting energy drain is like paying a projection tax. When you tally the accumulated tax from all your projections by the end of an hour or a day, you can see why you may feel beat down or don't feel as good as you should, even if it was a pretty good day. You spend energy and time emotionally reacting to problems you thought were going to encounter. Having to talk to someone you don't like. Another hard day like yesterday. Too much work ahead of you and never enough time, and so on. To prevent projecting into the future, as soon as you notice a projection taking hold, stop and use attitude. Breathing for a few moments. Choose a replacement attitude or breathe an attitude of appreciation to prepare yourself for whatever might happen next. It could be better than you think. Doing this for 30 seconds or longer will build your energy reserves and serve as a reference place to come back if the projection starts up again. When you see yourself starting to squander your energy in a projection, ask your heart intelligence for guidance and tell yourself, no, don't go there. I can't afford it. It will be too much tax and I've already paid the one before. Janice talks about how she got over her habit of projecting anxieties into the future. I used to get ready for work in the morning in a totally preoccupied state, running a steady stream of thoughts about what was going to happen that day. After tiring, literally, of the process, Janice decided to try attitude breathing. Now, as soon as I get up and start moving around my room while my husband sleeps, this is my time to love and appreciate life. I tell myself, breathe love and appreciation, and negative thoughts and feelings aren't allowed. Only love and appreciation. Janice admits, of course, it's not perfect. Other thoughts and feelings do come up, but I stop them as soon as I can and I don't give them any more energy. I just take them right back to the heart and breathe. The results have been subtle yet unmistakable. It's not like I get into great bursts of love every morning. Most of the time, it's just soft, gentle feeling, but a good one. This is a special time which I get in touch with myself and muster up some of the best inside me before I start my day. When you are obsessing or worrying, many people have day-to-day anxiety about decision making, which can lead to obsessive worrying and procrastination. Linda has this type of anxiety daily. I worry about what I should make for dinner, worry about how I should write or say things, worry about most any decisions, fearing that I won't pick or do the best option. This contributes to a background worry that things won't work out. I use notice and ease, power of neutral and attitude breathing. They work in the moment, but then worrying would come back. Doc suggested that I try attitude breathing in through the heart and then out through the stomach and down through the feet to really anchor my intention and begin to take out underlying pattern of worry. I find doing that helps ease out the jittery energy and tightness in my emotions. When I find myself spinning around in my mind and overthinking things, breathing out through my feet also helps release me from the hold of my mind. I use it throughout the day, even when I'm walking around doing my job.
I will take a break. Thank you very much for your reading. We made a very good progress today. And as always, at the end of the reading, any questions, any ideas, or whatever you would like to share with everybody? Any thoughts?
Yes, Alex. I would
Okay.
was I reading it, I was also thinking like you know, already the anxiety is getting like how would I learn it? And according to the book, you really have to really try it and give it time. I think that's what it is. You have to give yourself time and be patient in trying it out and see how it would work for you, because nothing comes up really fast and it's a real straightforward solution. But if you could try the process and how they were telling you how to do it, just give it more time, and then you will learn how to do it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Iris. Thanks a lot. 100% agree. 100. Anybody else? Okay, I did not see anybody. So I would like to say, as always, thank you to readers, Isaac, Zoya, and Iris. And I would like to say thank you to everybody who participated in this webinar. And as always, if you may have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. In the meantime, I'll see you next Monday. I'll talk to you next Monday. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.